Yes! Wow! Welcome back, dudes and dudettes, to another episode of Alan Teaches English. Thank you for joining me again today. I will be going over 3 differences between American and British English. Even though they are the same language, there are huge differences. And I'm not even including the differences between Australian and South African English. There are tons of dialects in English, but today I'm just going to focus on American and British English. Before we get started, I would like to clarify something. In my last video, I mentioned that a lot of Americans do not support wearing masks. While this is still partially true, a recent survey showed that over 70% of Americans support wearing face masks in public places. So it's not a huge amount of people in the United States that oppose wearing face masks, but that still means about 30% of people do not support it. Just wanted to clarify, not every single American is out there not wearing a mask and with dirty hands and everything, although it may seem like it because of all the cases that we have. Let's go ahead and just get going with this video. Number 1. One big difference between American English and basically the rest of the world is the fact that we call football soccer. Now, this may seem very strange, but you can actually blame the UK, because the UK were the first ones who actually started calling football soccer. So naturally, Americans adapted as well, and we started calling it soccer. But then the UK changed their minds. They said, we are in Europe and everyone around us calls it football. So we're just going to go back to calling it football. And in America, we never got the message. I don't think the UK ever sent a tweet or a Facebook message our way saying, we started saying football again. Yeah, so it's soccer here in America. But one fun fact about American football, you know, the ones where they wear the big helmets and the big pads. So in America, we use the imperial measurement system. Inches, feet, miles, etc., Fahrenheit. And American football got its name because the ball that we use in the sport is a foot long. At least it used to be. I haven't actually measured a football to check its length, but I played football when I was in high school, or American football when I was in high school, and yeah, it's about a foot long. It's a pretty long ball, you know, probably about that much, which looks like a foot to me. I'm about 6 feet, you know, about 180 6 centimeters, I think. Also, it is true that football or soccer is really not that popular in the United States. And yes, I know our women's team are the reigning world champions. And some of us are very proud of that. You know, America, we just like to win. And we enjoy the fact that we won a world championship. It could be a world ice skating championship or a curling championship. We would be happy. But basketball, American football, baseball, and even ice hockey are more popular here in the States than soccer or football. Number 2. Number 2 is probably the most obvious difference in the 2 different accents, and that is the pronunciation of letter R. To me, this is where things get really strange, because to me, the letter R is that strong R. And in technical terms, that is called the rhotic accent. Properly named, it has that big R sound right in the beginning of it, and both languages will actually pronounce it similarly. And the UK accent with that, soft R, that is the non-rhotic accent. And to explain more about the non-rhotic accent, or the UK pronunciation of R, in the non-rhotic accent, the R sound is strong, just like America's, when it comes before a vowel. So read, bread, direction, those R sounds are still going to be strong. When the R is not strong is when the R comes before a consonant. For example, like work, large, or north. Let's see if I can pronounce work, large, north, right? The R is not strong at all. It's very weak and kind of doesn't even sound like it's there. And one other difference in pronunciation is I've noticed that the letter I, like in direction, vitamins, words like this, where the I is kind of the first vowel, Americans tend to say I, like the letter I, direction, vitamin, right? But in British English, well, it's a different sound. It's a I sound, right? Like vitamins or direction. And the non-rhotic accent can also be found in the United States. In the Northeast and the South, there are parts of the country that have this accent. Like in Boston, for example, you notice that they have that really strong Boston accent. Get in the car, right? Give me some water, right? That is a non-rhotic accent. It's not a British accent, but it's definitely a non-rhotic accent. As well in the UK, in Ireland, Scotland, and the southwest of England, you can find rhotic accents. I'm not even going to try to do these accents because honestly, I'm not very good at them. I'll just stick to my American accent. Number 3. Our third difference is the actual difference between the way we pronounce words, regardless of accent. Schedule, privacy, vitamins, again, tomato, and herb are all words that the two of us pronounce differently, as well as the word aluminum, which in the UK is pronounced aluminium. I actually think that they spell it differently. And earlier I mentioned the way we pronounce that first I sound. Direction, vitamins, or privacy. I say privacy. Privacy sounds extremely weird to me, as well as vitamins. That sounds kind of weird. That's kind of where I draw the line for me. We pronounce things differently. And let's look at herb. H-E-R-B. Now, this word has a similar story to the word soccer. Herb was first pronounced in the UK like herb. They changed it because they did not want to sound like the French, or at least that's what I've heard. And again, the UK started pronouncing it like herb until we caught on, apparently. Because as soon as Americans catch on to a pronunciation of a word, the UK goes ahead and just changes it. They start saying herb again. It makes sense that they pronounce the H sound, but honestly, we shouldn't be surprised that herb is pronounced the way it is. Because a lot of the English language actually comes from French. English is kind of this weird hybrid language where it is a mix of a Germanic language and a Latin language. And long ago, in ancient English is what they call it, long ago they dropped the masculine and feminine articles for nouns, and now we just use the. And that actually is my favorite thing about English. Thank you, whoever you are, because it is so difficult to work with all of these gender rules in the Latin languages, as well as German actually still. In German, I think it's actually more difficult than Spanish, Italian, French. And yeah, lots of rules come from the gender of a noun, as opposed to English, everything is the, right? The headphone, the bottle, the pen. And I do have to admit, the British do tend to look at the word and pronounce the word probably as it should be. But the only reason why the American accent has become so popular is because our media has kind of just taken over the world. Our music, movies, television shows, gosh, even nowadays with our politics, America is the center stage and therefore represents the English language. Even though the British do tend to pronounce things correctly, I still prefer my beautiful, beautiful American accent. So thank you all so much for joining me again this week. Please check out my previous video so the face mask thing makes sense to you. And also check out my Alan Learns French videos. You can learn different techniques on how to actually learn a language. I don't go over English at all in these videos. I am studying French, but you can use these same techniques in order to learn English. If you like my videos and you've watched it multiple times, please subscribe and like and leave a comment and tell me how pretty I am. It really helps me out. It also helps you out because you can comment below and bring up a topic that I should speak of on my videos. I did it last week. I'm not doing it this week, but you are in control of this channel. If you want me to speak about anything, leave a comment. Until next week, peace.